So, guys, well, I say guys, Chris, me and Dan, we went and actually saw a podcast live for the very first time. And we went to see our favourite boys at the Trash Taste podcast over in London, Hammersmith Apollo. I fucking enjoyed it. Did you, Dan?
Nearly been a week since it, as of time of recording, and I'm still thinking about the things that occurred in the show, and I'm still, like, laughing to myself. Especially the, you know what I'm about to mention, the anime character you'd like to take on a date with. I'm still laughing over the wildcard answer on that. That's still getting me. I'll just be working. I'll just think about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so stupid, but it makes me laugh. No, it was a great. It was a great show.
Just to put it into context, so when we went to the show, as soon as you sat down, you had like a QR code on the screen to scan. And it came up like almost like a Microsoft Forms questionnaire thing. So I was like, oh, what would you say is the best thing we do in the UK? What do we do better than anyone else? What's the best fast food chain in the UK? And then it goes down to things like, which anime fan base is the worst? What would be the last thing in your search history on your phone? What anime character you take on a date? Questions like that. Obviously, the first one's UK based. It's just, because they're targeting Joey because he's from Australia, and they've all three of them have spent like quite a few years in Japan now, so they're probably a slightly bit out of touch with the UK. So, yeah, slightly. And so we just got this QR code and we did it. And each one of the guys, they did their own like little hosting, like separate little game show. And Connor did the results of the questionnaire. So what they do
No. Grant did he asked questions.
Sorry.
And so he asked like the audience and then the other two questions. Connor had the questionnaire, and then Joey had a debate section on their shit takes.
On their trash tastes.
Yes.
So what they'd do, they'd go through and they'd read out the top 5 answers for each question, and each of them would have to guess one of the top 5. Whoever loses, has to do a punishment at the end of the round. And the first few, like the UK ones, were relatively normal. Like, what is the best fast food place in the UK? Obviously, Greg's, because everyone loves Greg's. But there's like hot takes when they're saying, Nando's is up top, and like, okay, we're starting to push this. And Burger King, I was like, okay, fuck right off.
Whoever put Burger King in that crowd, I don't know what was going through their
It was
head.
more than one. That's the problem. Several people would have put Burger King.
I don't think Burger King's bad, but I would not say it's like top 5. It definitely is not. No
better than Greg's.
What, you think is better than Greg's?
Oh, hell yeah. Infinitely.
No,
Chris has got trash taste. We need to shoot him.
I wouldn't agree to that. But it's at the end of the day, it's whatever.
So the first few ones of the UK were just quite generalised. They just had to guess the top 5. So then when it came to the anime ones, obviously they had to try and guess like the top 5s. But then what they do after you see like the list of the 5, they throw in the wild cards. So they basically pick out someone from the crowd who possibly put the weirdest response. So one of the questions, as Dan mentioned, was what anime character would you take on a date? The general answers could have been things like, I put Rem from ReZero. Some people put Gojo Satoru from Jujutsu Kaisen. Some people might put Nezuko from Demon Slayer. So they might have been like the top 5 answers, if you know what I mean. And then they throw out the wild card. It's hardly a spoiler because it could be different per show. We've spoke about Mushoku Tensei before on the podcast.
Yeah, but we didn't actually go into the season 2 stuff because you weren't up to date with that at the time. Yeah. The wildcard answer was Rudius Grey Rat, but then in bracket, and then this is why it became a wildcard, was it when I'll make his PP go boing.
Make his PP go boing again.
Yeah, because Rudius Grey Rat in season 2 of Mushoku Tensei has ED.
Erectile dysfunction.
So that's why it was a wild card. And I'm still thinking about that. It's still making me laugh.
It was a nice one. And then there's, the general was like, okay, what sort of hentai do you secretly like? I put the absolute bro answer, and I was just like, oh, there's nothing that I secretly like. I'm proud of everything I like. And then some fucker puts up penis births. I'm just like, come on. Like, it's an actual thing. It's like, okay, fair enough. But that was just the general gist of the live podcast. Well, it wasn't really a podcast. It was more just the 3 boys just doing a show rather than it being a podcast. You got the personalities there, putting on a performance, and a great one at that. Obviously, we saw the Good Kids live as well at the start. That was good, weren't it?
Yeah. They had a band on called Good Kid. Our show was the only show that had a support, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, they were like, it's a bit weird having a whole crowd sitting down listening to our music.
Yeah, because it's almost like they wanted people to start jumping and stuff. They're like, a minute, they're still sitting down.
But it was great. I didn't, because it was literally on the day I checked Twitter and it was like Trash Taste were like, oh, we've got Good Kids supporting us today. It was like, wait, what? That's really cool. So yeah, it was a nice little bonus. Yeah, we had a nice little weekend in London, didn't we, Brandon?
Yeah. We went to Chinatown, had some buns.
Oh, nearly combined together, nearly £200 pounds of manga.
Yeah, let's not talk about my wallet.
Don't worry, I'll talk about my wallet in soon.
Okay. Hello.
No, it was a nice weekend. It was a fun time. Yeah, it was
I'll
good.
definitely do it again next year.
Well, if they do another one, you don't know.
I can hope so. That was fun.
Yeah.
Welcome to Victory Achieved Podcast, a video game podcast, an anime podcast, a movie podcast, a TV series. You know what? Everything. All of the things. With me are two people who know who Trash Taste, what that is, and me. We've got Dan.
Yo.
And we've got Brandon.
I have trash taste.
And I'm forever as Spanky. Or Chris. Whatever. Anyway, what's on the agenda today, lads?
Well, I do have an announcement to make before we start. So, I looked at my bank account yesterday, and I thought, you know what, my money's going to be feeling pretty low after my weekend in London. And then I checked it, and I was like, that's more money in there than I thought. I've got two decisions now. Do I be the adult and invest my money in my money box account, or do I do something for the podcast? And of course, I did something for the podcast.
I was about to say, surely you would have done the adult decision.
Oh no, I'm going to do that. I think when I actually get paid, I'm actually going to do that. But I was like, you know what? Especially the last episode, and I think maybe this episode, I think definitely in the recent month or so, I felt a bit behind the times. And I was like,
okay.
I need a next-gen console.
No, he's done it.
You bought a Game Boy Advance?
I did buy a Game Boy Advance. No, I didn't.
You can play Fire Emblem on the go.
I bought a next-gen console, and I've made sure I got a couple of games. I upgraded the storage. Yeah, and I spent a lot of money, but for the long run, I'll have nearly 3 terabytes of storage for that console. I think you can probably guess which console I went for.
Steam Deck.
No, of course not.
Yeah, Steam Deck as well.
No.
PS5.
Yeah, of course. Of course I went for a PS5.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody PlayStation fanboy. We're all about Xbox around here.
I don't know. I was like, if I wanted most bang for my buck money wise, I think the Xbox is perfect because you have Game Pass and all that. But I was like, I think I just prefer the games on PlayStation in general. And, you know, I as much as like Game Pass would be great, I'm not always, even with PlayStation Plus, and I have like the basic one. I download all the games, so it's on my account, but I hardly ever download them and actually play them. And so it's like, I may as well just get PS5, buy the games I want, and if there's anything on, you know, PS Plus that I want to play, yeah, I can download them. But, you know, I find it's trying to find time to play the games I already have, and even that's not enough. So, yeah, I finally bought a PS5, but I haven't bought a normal PS5. I bought a special PS5.
Oh, there's a God of War one, is it that one?
No, it's definitely not
Modern
God of
Warfare
War
3 one.
No, it's definitely not that one. I bought the Spider-Man 2 one.
Oh, that makes
a good
sense.
picture of this.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at it.
So I can.
Oh, that's a nice shade.
Because I was like, well, I need to play Miles Morales. To be fair, that's something. And when I was buying PS5 games, I didn't even get that one. I was like, I should probably buy that before I actually play Spider-Man 2. But I get Spider-Man 2, although it's digital download, I get that with the console when it's released, which is next month. And then I also bought Demon's Souls, because of course I did, because we're Victory Achieved. And then I got Final Fantasy 16. So
nice.
Yeah. So my bank account went this morning. But there we go. I'm finally coming to the next gen. So
I'm also to the next gen, but for different reasons.
Okay.
So today I went to town. Well, originally I was just going to go town just to get some blankets, just because when the dog goes like all crackhead mode and sort of like dives across the place. Obviously, because she's a puppy, her claws can get a bit sharp a bit quick. And it would do like sort of, you know, when it sort of takes like a bit of a fiber out of your furniture. Mm-hmm. So you get these like little bits of flicks on the furniture. So, okay, I thought, okay, come with the idea of, okay, if I put a blanket over the, you know, this couch, you know, I won't get this micro tears. You know, blankets are more disposable than whole pillows on a couch. So I went to town. I was just like, you know what? I should probably upgrade my phone. You know, my contract sort of expired 3 months ago. I think I need to upgrade my phone. So I have basically gone up 7 generations for what sort of generation is the iPhone SE?
I don't know.
Like, either way, I'm getting like the next gen iPhone. and with it, I'm getting YouTube Premium, which of all the upgrades, I'm more excited about the YouTube Premium than I have my fucking phone.
Well, we were talking about YouTube and Spotify stuff last weekend, and no, I can see why you're interested in YouTube Premium.
Well, we're getting offered it for like £8 a month rather than like £13 a month. So I was like, I'll have that. You know, £5 a month saving on that. I'm having it. So yeah, so I'm getting an upgraded phone and some premium YouTube so I can watch everything ad free.
Hold on. So Dan's got a new PS5. You've got a new phone. I've got a new Fitbit. So
look at us upgrading.
I know, right? I've even changed the display to look like a Pit Boy, and that makes me.
I saw that.
Happier
That
than it
looked
should be.
amazing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just like the walking animations like on a loop, and I'm pretty sure it's draining my battery, so I might change it to the GoldenEye 64 display instead, because that was an option too.
I wonder who else has that. Someone great from America. His streaming name begins with a W. I wonder who that could be. Weldy.
Yeah, Weldy.
Christopher Walken. So I've been kind of slacking when it comes to like gaming this couple of weeks because I've just been like hitting the gym and I've had a break from Twitch. But that's not to say I haven't done any gaming. And if we've all upgraded and we're looking towards the future, you know what game is set in the future? Starfield.
Indeed it is. It's set in the future but made in the past, which is a bit weird.
Time's confusing.
How do you feel about Starfield?
Not super great, if I'm brutally honest. I'd like to hear your opinion first, though, Brandon.
So I have this tendency of playing a game, not getting too far before I have other things which are starting up recently. Like I've got because I start a game and I'm like, I've still got Terraria to finish. I keep going back and fucking playing Terraria. Honestly, it's like a fucking disease. I can't. It's like a scratch which I just need to itch. And I'm like, fucking get it. When I say so, Starfield is set in the future but made in the past. I'm going to compare it to Skyrim for obvious reasons because Bethesda. But the main thing which I have with Starfield, even though I'm about a couple hours in, so I've thrown my ship for the first time, which feels more janky than what Star Wars Battlefront 2 does in a fashion. But the thing that gets me the most is the camera panning is awful.
Oh, the cameras, I really don't like that. I hate the UI, don't like it at all.
Yeah, the UI is a bit hard to... I get a bit confused with where I am, and then there's like some buttons do multiple functions. So like if I want to scan, I just tap the left L1 button, but if I want to turn my torch on, I have to hold the left button. I'm just like, and I'm getting confused with like, okay, what button does what? I don't know. So like I went into, when you first land on, you go to the next planet and you have to go to the research area and get rid of the space pirates. I just could not figure out how to get my torch on. I was like, I have to go to the control menu. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've mostly got negative things to say about this game. I don't want to be too negative, so I'll say a couple of positives about the game. And that is, I kind of like the leveling up system, how it's done like a sort of hybrid between Fallout and Skyrim. So you have loads of skills, and you can put a point into whatever skill you like when you level up, like just like the skill tree from Fallout 4, which is simple enough. But each skill you have also has a challenge tied to it to improve it further, so which is just like using it over and over like you do in Skyrim to level up. So say for example pistols, like you want to upgrade that, so put a skill point into it, and then for the challenge it asks you to like kill 20 people with a pistol, which chances are you're going to do that, and then that'll give you like a permanent 10% buff to your pistol damage. So I like that. What I don't like is pretty much everything else. On the general consensus, people are saying it's pretty boring, and I've played it for about 4 hours in total, and nothing has got me interested in it whatsoever. I say I don't like how the interface is. The menus seem they're not like difficult to navigate, but they're more convoluted than they should be. Yeah, it feels like there's no sort of like quick mapping, or there is a sort of a hot item, like a hotkey thing, just like Fallout 4. But I say a lot of the design decisions I can say good things about have just been ripped straight from Fallout 4. It's like a carbon copy. And then everything else that each tried to do differently, I don't like. I'm not a fan of the ship navigation at all. Like the ship combat, I think quite clunky. So there's a thing that happened to me in my playthrough, and it's when I stopped playing. So I was going around my flying from planet to planet, and I get stopped at one planet and by some like bounty people, like the law that said I had a bounty on my head, and they shot me to death But the thing is, I hadn't stolen anything or did anything wrong. I was like, well, that's bullshit. What the hell? And they were like level 20. I'm like level 4, so I ain't gonna win. I was like, well, that's shit. And then, like, just to have a look at the game, I watched the Zero Punctuation episode, and Yahtzee said that the same thing happened to him. He, like, all the guards just like went nuts and went, oh no, you committed crimes. You're not allowed to do this. You owe a fee. And he was just saying like, why? What have I done? I haven't done anything. Like, and they won't like tell you what you've done. They just like sort of give you a snarky tone. It's like, oh, wouldn't you like to know? Which is exactly what I had as well. It's like, tell me what the fuck I've done wrong. I just thought it was interesting. We both had like the same experience. And for me, it's just where I put it down. It's like, yeah, you know what? I've only played it for like 4 hours, but I'm really not going into it at all. And I want to. But the worst thing is I've not come across like any glitches. I know people have had them, but personally I haven't. But I've pretty much just been railroaded to my main quest. But nothing's got my attention. It all seems like so sanitary and nothing's got like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's got its own identity, I guess. Everything feels like it's been done before.
So I was listening to the latest Fire Escape podcast episode, and of course, because that's another video game podcast, they spoke about Starfield. And the conclusion they came to with Starfield is they're playing Starfield just as an obligation because it's the big game at the moment. And then they'll be like, I'm more enjoying this game more than Starfield. And then they were like, oh, you have games like Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds, which, although they're not completely the same, but they're very similar to Starfield in a lot of ways, are probably better experiences than Starfield.
You know what? It's funny I should mention Outer Worlds because I was this close to putting up a social media post to saying, I'm just going to say it, Outer Worlds is fucking infinitely better than this in every way. And it is. Sorry.
It just feels like it's because it's the new Bethesda game. It's, you know, it's like that's why everyone's playing it. It's not because, you know, it's the best game this year. It's because it's another Bethesda game. You know, I think they're like, especially on, you know, it's been promoted as Skyrim in space, but I think from what I hear from realistically, it's not really that.
No, it's certainly not Skyrim. It's more Fallout 4, but worse.
I don't know. From what they were saying on Fire Escape, they were going, maybe it should have been like a solar system, just a solar system that is filled with life, or like a couple planets that have like inhabitants, some moons, and then a whole lot of other planets you can go in and do whatever, and that might be more enjoyable than a vast universe or whatever galaxy.
Yeah, because they're trying to like defend it, like saying, oh yeah, you can like travel anywhere. It's like, you go to all these dead planets and there's nothing there. It's like, well, there won't be anything there, will they, statistically? It's like, why put it in the game then? What's the fucking point? It's meant to be fun. Make it fun. I could just pick a direction and go for like 3 hours in real time. What's the fucking point?
Even I was talking to my mates on Friday night and we were like, if you wanted a good space game, you can play like Elite Dangerous. Or I literally had it in my fucking head. What? No Man's Sky. No, they're probably better space games than Starfield.
Yeah, a lot of people have compared it to No Man's Sky, who like running around and crafting stuff.
I know.
That's a weird game that like would have flopped, but it's like found its feet over the years.
I still need to buy it just so I can actually experience it.
I had a quick go. It weren't for me.
Yeah, but from what I hear, I see a lot of people on like my social media, except from you. All I've seen is, you know, people are enjoying it. It's not perfect, but they're enjoying it. But then when I hear more critics and game media, it feels more like an obligation to play it than actually this is a fun game to play.
Yeah, I think that's what it boils down to. It doesn't feel fun. That's what you want. I'm playing it. I'm thinking I could be playing Sea of Stars now.
Yeah,
that's literally what I've been doing. I've just been playing Sea of Stars because it's just infinitely better.
Even on, carry on, Chris.
I mean, I say like I might pick it up again at some point when I go through like a drought when I'm not playing something. But because I've got a couple of games on the go already, it's just like this is really at the bottom of the pile. I'm just not digging it. Maybe I'll change my mind down the line, but can't see it happening anytime soon. Maybe if they patch it and update it and make it smoother.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be smoothed out.
Yeah, need to sort the menus out.
Like it's a shame, but at the end of the day, I think even one of my workmates went. He told me, "Oh, I'm playing Starfield," in it. Then his next comment was, "You can definitely tell it's a Bethesda game." And I was like, "Right, okay, that probably says it all, don't it?"
Yeah. I did a quick like mini stupid review on it, and it's like, well, it's a Bethesda game.
you know, like you see all the memes about like Skyrim, and it's like, oh, it's had infinite re-releases and whatever. But when you actually look at it, it's actually it's really fun, like just discovering and going wherever you want. Like once you've done the tutorial, you're like, I want to go west, or I want to go east, I want to go north, or let's go south. And you literally can. There is no hand-holding where it's like, no, you must go to Riverdale. What is it? Riverrun. You must go to Riverrun.
That's fucking Lord of the Rings.
Or you must go here, then you must go to Whiterun. You must do this. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to this town, and it allows you to do that. It gives you the freedom. Yeah, you might get killed by a dragon 5 minutes in if you go a certain direction or to a certain place, but it allows you to do that. Even Fallout 3, once you get out the bunker, you can go anywhere. Yeah, you might go to a place that might kill you, but you can go anywhere. Even Fallout New Vegas is not as much, because it kind of forces you a bit to loop round, but you can cheese it and get to the strip pretty quickly if you know how.
Well, with New Vegas, because it's like the second half of the game is all about the factions. You can go and fuck them up right from the get-go.
Oh yeah, you can. Even Oblivion, once you've done the tutorial, you can go anywhere. It's like, screw seeing Sean Bean die again. Let's do this. Spoilers. Let's go and do this ghost quest. Let's go to the Shivering Isles. Let's do whatever. You know.
Fallout 3. You can just go and find your dad like immediately once you know who he is. Go to Smith Casey's garage. Like, just skip the first half of the game completely. Yeah. Same for Skyrim. Like, you just go to the Drama ruins and get the Elder Scrolls. Like, oh, what, you looking for this?
Yeah. Or in Fallout 4, just find your son straight off the bat. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, I guess that's Bethesda for you.
Yes. I'll tell you what, the best thing I've seen about Starfield is someone who's already done a mod to change the flashlight to Nicolas Cage's face. That's the best thing I've seen.
Oh, good old Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
What else have you guys been up to, apart from Space Mumbo Jumbo?
Well,
I've...
Go on, Chris.
So, if staying up to date with new things, I've literally just watched the film Elemental before we started recording.
Oh, how's the new Pixar film?
Neither of you seen it yet?
No.
Nope.
All right, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Let's move on.
Yeah. I kind of got that feeling. I've not seen any reviews, but I kind of got that feeling it wasn't going to do that great.
It kind of has, like with home streaming. Like, it's kind of got its money back, because I know it did bomb at the box office, but it's coming to like general release. It's done a lot better, and people have been a lot kinder to it. And it's not a bad film. It's better than Turning Red, which is a film I didn't really like at all.
But to be fair, you're not...
I'm not target demographic.
Yeah,
I said, yeah.
I think we said that. You're not someone you're not a teenage girl going through puberty, so...
No, it's not...
Unless you're hiding something from us, but, you know...
I think I'm good. I'm just having a midlife crisis, which I'm scheduled for.
Do you think Pixar are fallen off? That's a question.
Yeah, no question. They have.
When do you think they fell off?
When Cars came out.
Or when Toy Story 3 came out. After that. Everything after that. Or most things after that.
Toy Story 3 was still good. I would say probably Toy Story 3 was the last really good film they did.
Like, I really like Incredibles 2, but I think Incredibles 2 kind of just retreads a lot of the first one, but it's just it's Mrs. Incredible as the main.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy it, but
yeah, it made me laugh a few times.
Yeah. I don't know.
In Elemental, I suppose my biggest gripe with it is there's no real like antagonist. Like, the stakes feel really small. Kept questioning like how the world works, like, because they do things for like background humor, because like the whole thing is like the whole world's running to like cater for all the different elementals. This is the kind of thing that I'm thinking of. So there's a bit at the beginning where it's showing you like how the transportation works, and you got like this zeppelin which like comes up to a station, and all like the air elementals come out. So like the zeppelin like starts falling down, but then a load of other ones like go back into it, and that sort of reinflates it, and it goes in the other direction. It's like, okay, I get how that works. What happens if nobody wants to go traveling any other direction? Does the whole zeppelin just fall to the ground completely? Like, or what if only one goes in it? It's like all the world building I start asking questions about.
I watched something this week and already I was like, oh, this is so fucking bad. So yeah, I don't know. World building can be really awkward.
Mm-hmm. What else? The main plot is a sort of romance story between the fire elemental and the water elemental, whose names I have already forgotten. Given interest, and the fire elemental gets shunned a lot by like the water elementals. The whole thing's like a very thinly veiled allegory for race, as you may expect. Which I think just looking at the trailer is like, yeah, you get that.
Yeah.
Or fire elements not welcome everywhere because they can burn everywhere down. And yeah, but it's all stuff you've seen before, really. But they don't really do anything different with it. It plays it safe. A lot of the jokes and humour in it feel like they're catering more to the younger, a lot younger demographics. Like the most obvious joke you can think of, that's what we'll roll with. And the whole thing feels like it's been played really safe and quite bland. And as I say, there's like no world-ending scale threat or anything like that. Not only needs that, but it felt like, come on, you got like all elementals. Surely you could, I don't know, make a tornado or something happen. Make like a sort of disaster film. That's something they could have done with it, like have a like forest fire kick off, or I don't know, tornadoes, have tsunamis, that kind of thing. Like the whole world's like out of balance, kind of like the plot to Pokemon 2000.
Yeah.
They could have had that, but they didn't, and they didn't throw James and Team Rocket in there, which is a crying shame. More films should have James and Team Rocket in it, but that's going off the record just ever so slightly. But yeah, do I recommend this film? Not really, but it's fine. It's harmless. You want to watch it? It's like an hour and 45 minutes. It'll kill a couple of hours. You want to keep the kids quiet, but honestly, I can't see kids watching it all that much either. I don't think they'll be. I don't know. I think they'll find it. Even the little ones will find it a bit boring. Like something like Moana. My 3-year-old niece loves Moana, but that's got like songs and like epic visuals going on. Like it's got a giant crab in it. It's like
I can't.
There's nothing like that.
I've seen Moana once, and there's like a section of it I can't remember what actually happens because I was doing something else, and that was way more important than watching Moana.
Yeah, I don't want to go off on a tangent on Moana. I've seen it too many times. It's like it was fine, but now I've seen it about 100 times.
It's like how I've seen both.
I want to see Moana again.
It's like how I've seen both Frozen films like 20 times. It's
Oh, the joys of having kids. Yeah. If you're going to show your kids anything, show them Robocop. That means when they want to watch Robocop again, you'll go, oh, great, I get to watch Robocop again. Fantastic. Hooray, I'd buy that for $1. So, yes, in conclusion, Robocop's better than Elemental.
I think even if you had not said that, I think from everything I've heard, I think people would know that.
Robocop's better than Starfield. Which brings me over to... There's a new Robocop game coming out soon.
Game?
Which, yeah, it looks quite interesting. It looks like it's doing a sort of first-person Fallout type deal again on like the streets of Detroit. I'm keeping one eye on it. I'm hoping it will be good.
Sounds interesting. Well, I read some manga. So when Brandon and I went to London, we took a stop at Forbidden Planet, and I bought 6 manga volumes while there because there's 3 for 2, and I pretty much got this. All of my volumes were the same author, Tatsuki Fujimoto, who is the author of Chainsaw Man. If I've not spoken about that before on our podcast, which of course I have. So I got volume 1 and 3 because they didn't have volume 2 of Fire Punch by him. I got Look Back, which I spoke about before. Actually got the physical version of that. Got his latest one-shot, Goodbye Eri. And then I also got the 2 Before Chainsawman volumes. And I'm going to talk about the first one today, because that's the only one I've read. And as I said prior to the boys prior to recording, I'm going to spread the stuff I haven't read a bit out, so it's not all one episode. But I read Before Chainsawman 17 to 21. The numbers are his age. These are what he wrote between 17 and 21. He's only a year older than me, or he's the same age as me. They're not sure, which is kind of a bit scary to know that someone my age has done so much manga, but also pretty cool. It'd be weird thinking that I'd probably be in the same year as him at school, which is wild. But yeah, I read this in one sitting, Before Chainsawman 17 to 21, and it's a fun and very interesting read into the early works of Tatsuki Fujimoto. It's not perfect, as you probably expect as its early stuff, but it was a fun read. It had some really interesting bits and also some pretty strange artwork at times. But you could definitely see that he's definitely getting like his drawings were definitely improving over time. But the first volume both volumes contain four one-shots. The ones in this one is a couple of clucking chickens were still kicking in the schoolyard. That's the first one. The second one is Satsuki stopped a bullet. The third one is Love is Blind, and the fourth one is Shinaku. Yeah, they're fun. First one, it had a bit of a One Punch Man vibe. It was just absurd. It was about these aliens who were keeping humans, who were killing humans, and some humans were dressed up as chickens to hide from the aliens. It was pretty weird. Like I said, it reminded me a bit of One Punch Man. The Sasuke Stopped a Bullet, which out of the 4 one-shots is my favourite from this collection, was pretty good. Yeah, the name pretty much says it all. It's about Sasuke who stopped a bullet. But I guess it's what the theme of the one shot is kind of why it's pretty cool. It's kind of like believing in things even if you yourself know they're not real, to like help reach a goal, for example. It was pretty good. The third one, Love is Blind, was just about this confession that just got absolutely absurd. This guy wants to confess to his classmate, and he's so nervous, and like everything. It just every time he's about to confess, something weird happens, and it just gets weirder and weirder. Where ultimately, like, aliens appear, and it's just like, what is going on here? But it was a fun read, and the last one definitely the main character Shinaku definitely had a few. There's a couple of Chainsaw Man characters that definitely she felt inspired, some of them, and she is an assassin, and it's about her trying to kill a vampire, and it was pretty fun. It was a fun volume. These aren't definitely not the best manga stories I've ever read, but they're definitely not the worst. They were fun. It was an interesting insight into Tatsuki Fujimoto. Yeah, it was fun. I would say the manga, the artwork definitely reminds me, especially in the first one. You know, Brandon knows books where it's like how to draw manga. Some of this artwork reminds me of like that, as if
like just some of the janky pictures.
Yeah, it looked like as if he got a book of how to draw manga and then just copied that. So, like, none of it's bad. I'll say that. The first story, some of it does look a bit jank, and I think that's the only one where it does look a bit like that. But yeah, the later ones, the other 3 definitely feel like he's got the how to draw manga and kind of copied it / twisted it slightly into his style. Although at this point, he doesn't really have a style, because it looks more like when you think of like manga, a traditional manga, or like it doesn't really have much of his style. But like I said, it only took about an hour to read, and it was great. It was good fun, and I'm glad I read it. Like I said, next episode I've got the second volume, and I think in that I know the last 2 are more to his more recent style, and I think the first 2 are more to his style for Fire Punch. So I think the first 2 in the second volume, the first 2 came out before Fire Punch, and the last 2 came out after Fire Punch. And of course, because it's name of the both volumes, they're both Before Chainsawman. I'm excited to go through all his one-shots, but so far still Chainsaw Man's the best thing he's done, and I don't think that's probably going to change. But I know Goodbye Eri is critically acclaimed as well as Look Back is too. But I spoke about Look Back. Look Back's great. Yeah, that's my manga time this week.
Speaking of manga, I'm just looking through my manga app now. I don't think I've started anything new. I'm just having a look now. now. I'll start. Oh, actually, no. I've spoken about Choujin X. Have I spoken about Choujin X? Oh, God, a bit stupid.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll bring it up anyway. Off topic, because usually what we do is we just briefly tell each other what we've done before we start recording, so we stay on some form of a track. But I've literally just remembered something that I have been reading, and it is a manga series called Choujin X by Ishida Sui, who is more famously known for being the author of the Tokyo Ghoul series.
Didn't you find some of this at Forbidden Planet?
I think I did. I can't remember if I did. I think I did.
Because I think you vaguely mentioned it while we were there, but I'm not sure. I know you mentioned Tokyo Ghoul. But
yeah.
I don't know.
So the moral of the story, the synopsis is, it feels really similar to Tokyo Ghoul. Main character goes out with his friend at night. They then get attacked, and he has to take like a miracle. They get attacked by these Choujins, who are basically like humans with more supernatural powers. He gets attacked, and the only way he can save his friend is by taking a mystery syringe, which could either kill him or turn him into a Choujin. Obviously, it turns him into a Choujin, but it turns you into a Choujin based on what you feel most familiar with. So his character, he's a character who can't make his own decisions, and he basically scrounges off his friends for help. Like, he's always just asking for help. But one particular animal he's really fond of is the vulture. So his ability is that he turns into the vulture Choujin. So he's got like the beak, the claws, and can fly and whatnot. I'm about 10 chapters in at the moment, and I can already say with pretty good confidence it's not as good as Tokyo Ghoul. I don't feel as sort of invested in any of the characters at all. Whereas in Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki, you sort of immediately liked. I can't really remember any of their characters in Tokyo Ghoul as well. It's been that long, but you can somewhat feel attached to some of the characters in Tokyo Ghoul, whereas in this, I just don't feel any of that connection happening. I'd be lying if I said I'm interested in see what direction it's going. I can see who the sorts of the big bad is and the sort of rivaling facilities are doing. But yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of the Tokyo Ghoul and you want to follow something made by the same author, there is Choujin X, but I will give you prior warning, it is not as good as Tokyo Ghoul in terms of artwork either. I don't know. I feel like the artwork is a step back from Tokyo Ghoul, which, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's kind of hard not to step back from something that's 10 years old. But yeah, that's in terms of manga. That's all I've done. Start to read Choujin X. Yeah.
Cool. I know. Big pause.
Dramatic pause.
I know. It's as if we fell flat, as if humans fell flat.
Humans fall flat?
Isn't that a game, Chris?
It is a game, yes. I tell you what, you can even play this on your PS5, Dan. Wouldn't like Starfield.
I know. I don't really. I'm not going to be one of those people who is like, oh, I'm playing Starfield on my PS5. Don't know. I don't get why people were doing that, but oh well, whatever. Weirdos.
Yeah, I think when they said, when it came out, it's like, Starfield's an Xbox exclusive. All the PS5 fanboys was like, no one gives a shit, mate. Anyway, yes, well, that joke fell flat. Just like this game. So, Human Fall Flat is it's a physics puzzle platformer. Think of things like I Am Bread, Surgeon Simulator, that kind of deal, Goat Simulator-ish. But the biggest gimmick with this one is it's a co-op game, and I played this with Adrian's Revenge. We're going to play it again next week, and yeah, we're having a laugh with it. I think, because of the type of game it is, if you were to play it on your own, it would be very frustrating, and I don't know how much fun you get out of it. It's like when you're trying to do something simple, but the whole premise of it is just trying to do simple things, but your character just keeps falling over, and it's like a struggle to get anything to stand up or go in a straight line. It's like trying to pull a switch can be difficult. In fact, for me, the most difficult thing I found to do was simply climb up something because of how it controls. You sort of have to raise your arms up before you get to the the cliff edge or whatever you're trying to climb up, and then you sort of have to push yourself up. But control-wise, it's not what you think it is, intuitively. It's like you sort of have to go against what you think it's going to do for it to work. It's really, really hard to explain without just showing you how to do it in game. But with someone else, also falling over, trying to solve the same puzzle you're trying to solve, and both of you having different ideas of how the hell you solve it, is quite a lot more fun. Especially when you think one of you's just about solved this puzzle, trying to say perfectly balance something on top of something else to make a seesaw, and you've just about got it right. Just for your friends to go, all right, no, that's not quite right. It's not quite parallel, and then completely ruins it by trying to straighten it out. And the whole thing just falls apart. It's one of those types of games. But I don't know. Depending on your temperament, that might really, really infuriate you and lead to some falling out. It's like, you fucking dumbass. I just had that. You just ruined it. Why did you do that? You could go that way, or just the total opposite. You just sort of break down laughing. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, I nearly had that, and now it's just gone to pot. And then you just start looking for like alternate solutions. It's like, well, I can see how the game wants me to do this, but bugger that. I'm just going to try and clip my way up the wall instead and try and bypass this barrier, which, to my surprise, once or twice actually worked. It's like, pretty sure I wasn't meant to do that, but I did anyway, and I'm just going to keep rolling with it. Only to realise, hang on, I've just left Adrian behind. So you can't follow me. I should probably go back and open the door to let him proceed. Or I could just keep going until I hit the next brick wall. Although the game is kind enough for you to, like, when you hit, like, when you, like, go into a new area, the game is, like, nice enough to, like, teleport your characters, like, up to speed. So, honestly, I think every puzzle is designed that you can do it by yourself, because I did give the game a quick go, and like the opening like intro level was exactly the same, 1 and 2 player. So I can only guess it's the same. You can just speed things up or just make things twice as difficult by trying to get both of you past every obstacle. Yeah, I want to recommend it. Tough one. With friends, yeah, give it a go. It's a laugh. On your own, it's down to you whether you kind of like that, like frustrating platforming or not. I think it can really, really divide people on this. Pretty much, if you see how the game plays, you're pretty much going to know instantly whether you're going to like it or not. Just have a quick trailer, just have a quick look at the screenshot and think, oh yeah, that'll annoy the fuck out of me trying to do that. Probably not for you, but do it with a friend. Yeah, it's quite good. So yeah, I quite liked it.
Yeah, I've seen other streamers play Human Fall Flat, because there's an Overwatch streamer I still watch a little bit, called Sleepy. He played Human Fall Flat, and it was just fucking hilarious. Just like the physics and everything. It's a great game for like making clips or like compilation videos on it. Yeah, absolutely. It's like every time it went wrong. So it's just like streaming a Bethesda game. Yeah, pretty much, except the bugs are meant to be there. They're a feature. Yeah.
You had a lot of fun with Adrian playing it, though, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We had a right laugh. Although I had a right laugh. I didn't know whether she wanted to strangle me half the time. So just do the puzzle like the simple way. Just go for the door. It's like, no, I don't want to go for the door. I want to do it in the most awkward way possible. So I must scale this wall instead.
It's like when you're trying to do like stuff in Portal 2 and you do co-op there. It's like, oh, let's just do this, or we'll just try and work together. You're like, I can sort it on my own, and someone does it all, and then the other person, it's like, oh, I'll just make all these random portals.
Yeah. It really does be like that. I mean, if you want to make the most out of it, you're both gonna like pull your weight. But I don't know, if you kind of got someone younger than you and not as experienced in games but still wants to play, because you can kind of beat it solo, it can still give them that feeling of they're taking part. So yeah. I don't know where I'm going with that. Yeah. No. It's not as good as Robocop.
Yeah, I even if you didn't say that, I think I could gather that much. I know you're a massive Robocop fan. If we've not spoken about that on podcast, which I'm sure we actually have.
I'm sure we have.
I literally just looked at our list and I've already forgotten what I saw the last one. Oh, it was another. You played another game.
I have, yes. So this is not a new game. This came out in 2003 when I was just a wee baby of 18 years old. And we're going all the way back to not PS5 but PS2. In fact, this is one you can play because it's on PS Plus, which is how I started playing it. So this game is called Ark the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits. Or, if you're in the UK, it was just called Twilight of the Spirits, because Ark the Lad is actually a franchise which hardly any bugger has heard of. Mostly because most of their games are crap. Except this one. And the way they made this game not as bad as the others is by pretty much ignoring everything else in the franchise and doing its own thing. Making it like its own story. Apparently it's set like 1,000 years in the future of the old ones. So it's like, so it's got nothing to do with anything. No, not really. I think there's probably a couple of cameos if you know your Ark the Lad lore, but I don't.
What do you mean you don't know? I'm kidding.
I know, I'm sorry. I wasn't brought up in Japan, so I didn't play any of them. I think this might be the first one that actually did come out in the West.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And also got the 3D treatment, because it's all 2D before then. Anyhow, so Art the Lad, or actually, I'm just going to call it Twilight of the Spirits, really, because that's its full name. Real one. Twilight of the Spirits. Story-wise, you sort of flip between two characters. You've got a human called Karg, who everyone loves, and he's, the twinkle in everyone's eye. And then you play it as his estranged brother called Dark, who's a sort of half demon, or Deimos, as they call it in the game. And no one likes him. He's like a slave. And throughout the entire game, you play like a chapter of each and sort of alternate. And over the course of the game, you get your own party members that have their own storylines going on. And near like the tail end of the game, they all meet up, and then like all your teammates will forge their own party and go forth into an endgame. So I don't say too much about the story because
it's the classic JRPG where it's like first quest, find cat, last quest, kill God.
Yeah.
Not really. No. Oh. No, it doesn't. Because I say this one's more westernized.
Ah.
So, yeah.
So it's find dog.
Yeah, maybe.
Or main character find ourselves. The real story was the friends we made along the way, and now we have to reach into ourselves, like Cloud, like Tifa had to when she went into Cloud Mind.
Maybe there's a little bit of that, but it's an RPG, guys. It's from 2003. It's allowed to. Yeah. No. What I do like about this game is the combat system, and it's mostly combat. So how this game plays is like you've got a sort of it's kind of like a top-down sort of isometric camera, and you sort of explore like the towns, talk to people as you'd expect. Although there's not normally much to find, it is just like all your towns with your shops, like pretty bare bones. But that's not too much of a bad thing. It just means they've cut out a lot of fluff. They've trimmed it down like to what you actually need in an RPG. There are some hidden stuff to find, like behind like walls, because it's like sort of isometric. There's a couple of side quests where you can like find some missable stuff. As I say, all the chapters, like once you're done with them, you don't necessarily go back. Sometimes you backtrack to areas, but other times you don't. So it's best to like do everything while you're there, then and now. Otherwise, you might just miss it forever. Then you go to like your overworld, and your overworld is just like basically nodes on like a world map. It's just like a sort of static image, and then you just sort of go from node to node. One will be a town, but half the nodes are basically just combat things. So you go on a node, you just go into combat. Combat in this game is tactical, so same sort of camera angle, isometric, but your characters move around in the sort of area, and depending on your character, the distance they can travel sort of varies. Like your faster characters can tend to like go a lot distance. Some of your characters are ranged and more melee, so they can hit from further away or nearer, as you may expect. But that's actually effective when you level up. Like when you level up, you can have more range, you can move further, you get more skills as well, because there's like 2 times of XP you get in this game. You can get regular experience from beating enemies, and you also get like SP points, which you can bank to learn extra skills. For each character, when you move, it's not like on a grid, it's more free walk running around, kind of like the last Mario & Rabbids game I played, where you sort of run around more freely, and each character's got like a different attack arc, which is like more circular than anything. And it's like basically the character's attack range are kind of like wedges or slices, I guess, which can rotate round. And depending on the character, like say one of them's a ranged archer, so they can hit multiple enemies if they're in like a straight line, but their range is narrow, so you're not going to hit like 2 enemies standing side by side, for example, but you can hit them if they're in a straight line. And then you got guys that like use a heavy axe which swings sideways, so they can hit multiple if they're standing side by side. So that means like each combat encounter generally is between like 2 and 10 enemies, so they can be over in like 30 seconds or a couple of minutes. But I actually really like the combat. It's just fun. You run around, use your skills when you need to. Magic's a bit restricted, because in this, magic doesn't work like regular MP. You use these thing called spirit stones, and they're more like a consumable, and each character can only hold so many, and then any extra ones are like dropped by enemies, which you can pick up. But and depending on whether you've used the skill already, they either get put straight onto your character's like MP like slots, or they go into sort of like a bank, and between fights you can like refill all your character's spirit stones and whatnot, so you're ready for like the next fight, which is a nice little thing, because there's like no random encounters. You know when you're going to get into a fight beforehand, and before you go into any fight, there's like a little status screen that pops up. It's like, who do you want in this fight? Like, get all your equipment ready, get all your items ready, like get all your magic prepped and ready to go. So you can like stop and think about exactly what you want before you go in. So yeah, there's a lot to like about this game. It's pretty straight back. It's got your storyline, it's got mostly combat and a little bit of exploration, but not too much. So it is a bit linear, but you can grind to your heart's content if that's your thing. If you just want to fight and go to level 99, you can take your time. There's like arena things as well, like if you can, and because there's a couple of secret characters in the games, like you can stay here and like do like 30 rounds, 30 fights in a row, and like a lot more secret characters if you really want to. I haven't done that yet because, as I say, fights can take like a few minutes each. So when they say 30 fights in a row, which I could lose in, and yeah, that's like we're talking like an hour solid here, of which I also cannot save the game, which is my biggest gripe with the game, saving, because it's an old like PS2 game. Autosave is not a thing. You can only save at save points, and the game's really, really stingy with them. They're only at like certain locations. Like you've got to like go to like an inn, and you could do like a massive dungeon. Well, let's say a massive dungeon. Dungeons aren't really massive, and there's like no random encounters or anything. But even so, it's like I was in parts where I've had like 5 fights and like 10 minutes of like cutscenes, which are unskippable, by the way, which is poo. And I'm just thinking like it's been like nearly an hour and a half, and I still haven't saved the game yet. Please let me save the fucking game. I need to go out. But I think that's just one of the products of the era. I think that was more commonplace like that, like back in 2003. Like, please.
Am I sadistic for liking it when they do a save system like that?
No, I mean it makes you focus more, I guess. Like when you're still getting into fight after fight, it's like, yeah, you better pay attention, because if you lose this fight, that's like an hour and a half down the drain. You ain't getting that back. You've got nothing to show for it. Start all the way back. Thankfully, I haven't lost anything, because I do think for the main game, it's not too difficult. And there were some fights which are harder than others, but generally there's sort of like a warning. It's like, are you prepared before you go in there? You think, no, I'm not. I'm going to go back and save the game if you don't mind. After some 4 fights, I'm going back. But yes, Twilight of Spirits. I do highly recommend this game. And the main reason I started playing it is because it's a game I first played when it very first came out, and I never beat it. I got all the way to the final boss and never beat it. And then I seen it on PlayStation Plus and go, right, this time you ain't getting away. I'm going to sit down and complete the crap out of you.
That's literally the same reason why I picked up Dark Cloud when that came on, when I discovered that was on the PS Plus.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you got unfinished. It feels like you got unfinished business. It's like that.
Yeah,
game
it literally
away.
just feels like unfinished business.
It's like, I can't die yet. I need to finish this.
But I suppose that's where they get with like retro games. They know, like a lot of us back in the days, there's a lot of games where we would have played it but just not finished it just because we were either too young to understand the mechanics to their full potential or whatever. But yeah,
I do think I'm having an easier time than I did back in the day. I remember it being harder, but I think I was just dumb, because it's like a completely different combat system to what I'd used to before. But now I played more things like XCOM, as I understand more.
I think I'm the same for when I played Jack and Daxter. When I saw that was on PlayStation, I was like, okay, Precursor Legacy, we need to sort you out, mate.
Yeah, I suppose the nicest thing about playing this game is I thought it would like age terribly, and it really hasn't. Like the storyline's still fine. The graphics for the time looked okay, and they still look fine now. Like, they look like just classic PS2 ones. They don't look like they've aged all that terribly. Yeah, they're a bit polygonal, but they're not like ugly or anything. And the music's pretty chill. Like none of the music's like really hyped up. Like it's got like a lot of guitar work in it, but it's like pretty chill. Like something you could quite easily have on in the background while you're just hanging around. So yeah, it's give me a go if you want.
Nice.
Probably always wants to catch up on some of the other games I'm playing. Anything else on anyone's agendas?
Well, I think the only other thing we've got is the Nintendo Direct.
Now, do tell me more about this, because I am a sort of person who does not keep up with... I don't keep up with social media. I think the only thing I keep up with is every now and then, if I'm on the bus, I'll be like, oh, let's just see what's in the news. But I mean, like, actual news, not... Yeah. Tell me more about Nintendo Direct. Is there anything which I should be very excited about?
I don't know.
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe not. I didn't watch it live, and I only saw some highlights yesterday because, as I said prior, I've been a bit busy. They're redoing Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, which I'm interested in. So I've not played that. They named the new Princess Peach game. Is it Showtime Princess Peach, or is it Princess Peach Showtime?
Princess Peach Showtime.
Yeah. Which
honestly looked like the most interesting thing on the entire show.
I've not watched the trailer for it. But, more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's the final bit. They showed 4 more characters, more tracks. You got that F-Zero 99.
Mm-hmm.
What else was there, Chris? I can't remember.
You've got Super Mario RPG being remastered as well.
Well, that was already announced. It was just a new trailer, weren't it?
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about that, because
Why?
I've seen somebody else mention that not the game itself is going to be bad, but the original Mario RPG is not a difficult game by any stretch, and they look like they've added more things, like more combat things that you can do, which I think is going to make the game way too easy. Like, even
oh
more
dear,
so.
they've gone in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like they're pandering a bit more to the casual player, which is not in itself a bad thing because I'm all for accessibility. But it does look like there's going to be like no challenge whatsoever.
Okay. I don't know what else there was. There's a bunch of random stuff. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
open it up. Let's see. Let's have a look.
Yeah, so I had a quick look at like the 9 minutes like highlights of everything on there, and I'll be honest, there's like absolutely nothing on it that I thought looked decent. They look like it's something that's either been a remake, like the two Mario RPGs, or there's nothing stood out. In fact, some of the things just like look terrible. Like they've just being on the Switch, I don't think they look anywhere near as good as they should be. Half the games look like they should have come out like in 2010, not 2023. I think that's just a handicap of the system. Let's see what other things. A new Detective Pikachu game, but I thought the most people agreed that the first Detective Pikachu game was shit.
Never played them.
Nobody liked it.
Never played it, so I don't know.
No, neither did I, but I just know it had like 40% in like reviews, so not good. But now they've got a sequel for some reason.
Because
secondly filming,
why not? I guess
yeah, it's just Pokemon. Yeah,
people like Pokemon, you know. Well, they had the trailer for the latest DLC, or like, the actual DLC for the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's out, I think.
What's that
Yeah.
going to give? Yeah, what's that going to give?
What, the new DLC?
Yeah.
New Pokemon, new areas to explore. I don't know. I haven't even got DLC for Sword and Shield, and now I'm like, I don't think I'm even going to bother with that.
I still
No.
haven't finished Scarlet and Violet. I've not played it since I bought it. Just been playing other stuff. I don't know, like, I've just been taken away from the Switch.
I really don't like the DLC. Well, I've not played the DLCs in Pokemon, but I really find it scummy how like they don't include Pokemon in the main game just so they can add them later as paid DLC. I think that's really shit.
Yeah, it's a bit shitty.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole concept of the game, gotta catch them all, was like, you can't catch them all unless you
You have
give
to
us
buy
more
them
money.
all.
Yeah, which I think is just bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a shame. But that seems to be like the general direction that a lot of companies are going now is, release the game early and get them to pay for all the other bits.
They shouldn't, but that's the way they go, and it's annoying. But that's why, when you had Baldur's Gate 3, and it's just like, there are no microtransactions, there's no da-da-da, and it's like, oh my gosh, what is this? It's like, there are game developers that set out what they mean to
give
do.
it a toss, yeah.
Even, like, I think even when Nintendo announced that they weren't doing any DLC for Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm like, you know what? I'm quite happy with that. There's no more Tears of the Kingdom. Like, it's just that you just have the game and that's it. That's cool. More companies should be doing that instead of being like, here's an unfinished game and then we're going to add some more. You're going to pay 20, 30 quid for more stuff that isn't really going to add much to your game.
Yeah, it's scummy, but then again, I don't know what some of the margins are for some companies. Like, say, for example, if they're releasing like a £50 game, but they want to, but like for case example, Terraria, it's like an 11, 12-year-old game, and most of it's probably done the majority of its sales, but there's still ongoing development in the game because the game developers want to keep pumping new stuff into the game. So I can understand like scenarios like that where obviously to fund continuous projects like that. But when it's just a game which in 2 years' time is going to be a redundant thing, like, yeah, it's scummy.
Yeah, it's awkward.
They're saying that. I like what they did to Black Ops though.
Or what do they do to Black Ops?
Oh, just the zombies maps. Like, it's not
right.
it's not exactly like directly the game stuff. It's just additional stuff if you want to.
Yeah, well, that's always been a thing with zombies, and I think there will always be a problem with DLC these days. Like the way of expansions is gone now, and like DLC as it is with like unfinished games, and the amount of patches is just a thing, sadly. And as when a company doesn't do it, they should be praised, which that they haven't. They're not scummy,
Yeah.
But it's sad that we have to praise them. We shouldn't need to praise them, but sadly we do, because there's too many companies that won't do the whole mile for their game. But, well,
Tell you what else is coming out, which look completely pointless. One called Trombone Champ. Which
I saw
is,
that. I was like, I'm not going to bother.
But you just play it by moving the controller up and down. It's like, that's hardly Guitar Hero, is it? It's like you're not even using the microphone to blow into it. It's like, why would you play that? It's just moving your arm up and down.
Because
it's hardly playing a trombone. It's not even mimicking the movement. It's stupid.
It's for when it's when a family gets a Switch, they're like, let's get this. It looks fun, and then the kids will play it for an hour and then never touch it again.
Honestly.
Why?
Tomb Raider's been 1, 2, and 3 are being remastered, and I tell you what, I don't like the remastered graphics. I'm not a big fan of Tomb Raider anyway, but I think the older graphics look way better.
I've not seen any of the. I've not seen the. There's a trailer for it. I've not even seen the trailer for it. I don't know what they look like exactly.
Basically, they've just essentially this looks like they put a filter over it to like smooth out everything, like get rid of like the polygonal edges. But at the same time, it looks like it's just removed like any personality and charm from it. At the same time, everything looks like it's covered in plastic and vacuum packed.
Okay. That's not cool. I've only played the first one. I didn't even get that far because I didn't even find it that it controlled that well.
No, I played the first one when it came out and didn't like it because for that reason I just couldn't control the fucking thing.
I was like, I've never played Tomb Raider. I'm so excited. Started playing it. I was like, this controls like shit.
It does. Unfortunately, that's like half the selling point. It's like you're not meant to control it. If you could control it, there'll be no challenge. It's like you're meant to take about half hour to make every single jump.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is not what I expected, and I haven't played it since. And the only ones I have played are the reboot ones. I wonder why, because they actually play good.
Yeah, because they saw, Uncharted looks good, doesn't it? Let's do that.
But with a hot, I was about to say a hot anime girl, no, with a hot video game character.
Are you saying Nathan Drake's not hot?
Of course Nathan Drake is hot. He's a hot anime girl, I mean, what?
He's a waifu.
Sorry, I lost it there slightly. Top 10 anime waifus. Number 1, Nathan Drake.
That would be the wild card at Trash Taste, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually, that's not true. It wouldn't be Nathan Drake, would it? It'd be Sully.
Oh, Sully. What, played by, what's he called?
Not fucking Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, played by Mark Wahlberg.
Why?
Everyone's favourite.
Anyone else? Anyone else, and it would be a job.
What were they thinking? Something apparently. Not what I would have. I don't know. Stupid. Oh well.
I'm probably thinking one or two things. One, money, and second, Mark Wahlberg is sniffing around looking for an acting job, and he looks like he's going to beat me up. So let's just cast him in Uncharted. Going back to Tomb Raider. I think the only thing that people really want out of this is to just check in Tomb Raider 2 if you can still lock the button in the fridge. And that's it.
That says it all. Yeah. Like, can I do this? Yep. 10 out of 10. There you go.
I'm sort of like glancing over it, but I say glancing over it, I do mean glancing over it because my eyes are just like glazed over looking at all the things. Like, a lot of the games, some of them just look like mobile games. Like that shouldn't be on the Switch. That looks like it should be on the iPhone 2.
I remember enjoying WarioWare when that was on the normal Wii. Like me and my sister used to play that quite a bit because that was quite fun.
Yeah, because you got Move It coming out, haven't you? That's the latest one. That might be all right. I've never played a WarioWare game.
Neither.
I loved it because the whole gimmick. Have I spoke about it at all?
No.
So the whole gimmick of WarioWare is you hold. So we'll just use the Wii as the example. So you'd hold the Wii controller in different orientation depending on what the game mode is, and each game mode will have different positionings or sort of like karate style descriptions of it. So like one technique would be called the elephant, where you'd hold like the Wii remote on like your nose pointing forwards as if you're an elephant's trunk, and you direct it using that. Or one of them could be the swordsman, where you hold the Wii remote by your hip as if you're drawing a sword. And then there'll be like different game or challenges depending on where that Wii remote has to be positioned, and you have to do it. So like one of them I remember was using the trunk position, the elephant's trunk. You'd have to like get as many apples from the tree into the basket as possible. So you'd have to like move your head while holding it like that. So if you're doing it in a party, I could see it being a very, very fun game. And if I remember correctly, the Wii version also had like a story mode on it where you go through, do like the story and get different like techniques and different mini games to do as well. So yeah, it was quite fun. And as it gets more and more hectic, it's interesting. So I hope that if they do it for this one, it's bigger and better.
Being on the Switch, it's got the potential to be the best one because of how good the motion
again, you've
control
got
is.
the advances in motion control have come leaps and bounds since the Wii.
But there already is a WarioWare on the Switch.
Which one? So is this
This will be the second one. I think this is a new one, so this will be the second one on the Switch.
Wario Move It. Okay. Should I move it? Okay. Oh, they don't really give you much information. It's just a trailer. I'm just going to quickly watch the trailer.
I think from what I remember of the WarioWare games, like the ones on the DS were quite popular, apart from Touch, because I think Touch linked too much into like the whole sort of motion control mic gimmicks, where the other ones are just like the rather simplistic sort of mini games, or micro games as they call them, and they were just more fun.
Funny enough, I just opened this video of WarioWare and it gives me a trailer of Starfield. Not. Yeah, again, so it's got the same things like hold the remotes in different actions or forms. Okay, it says forms. So looking at this, I can see 4 forms. Like one of them looks like slapping someone. One of them looks like dumbbells. One of them looks like using a phone. Another one looks like you're squatting as if you're having shit. Another one is a bit NSFW by the look of it because you've got one hand in front of your mouth and one hand in your ass, which I don't quite understand.
That's the move it part.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at it right now. It looks awful. Like that position you have to be in. Like I don't know in what earth is that going to be used.
So you mentioned it. You mentioned elephant earlier, and your version of the elephant's very different to my version of the elephant.
Oh, I see the position now in action. It's as if you're being a chicken, so you've got a beak and a tail. Yeah, okay. Graphically, it looks pretty much the same as the Wii version. It looks like it's got the same sort of story-ish overworld mode and all the different challenges and game modes. I can see it being a really good part. It'll be a good party game, but if it comes out and it's like, oh, 40 quid, I'm just like, nah, thank you.
Probably be the case because Nintendo.
Yeah, it's one of these games where it hasn't got a lot of longevity. It's just one of those games you could just pick up and be like, oh, like, who fancies playing WarioWare? Sure, but
well, it'll probably be better than Starfield.
Probably.
That's the sad thing about many things.
I legit think just look at the trailer for WarioWare. Because it looks the same as the Wii version in terms of like the mini games. I can probably already put more time and effort into it over Starfield.
Yeah, you can say one thing for WarioWare: it don't look boring.
Nah, it's fun.
I suppose looking at this list, there's 2 things. There's 2 more games that kind of look like they may be interesting. Well, 3 really, but I say 3 because one of them is Luigi's Mansion 2 is getting a HD sort of remaster, because that's just been tied to like the 3DS. Yeah, I think that's fair. That gets launched again. Although that is my least favorite Luigi's Mansion game.
I played the first one.
First one's good. Second one's not terrible, but instead of like taking place in like one mansion, it takes place over several like different worlds, and like you just go back like to do like another mission every time. I think that's just because it's on the handheld, so it's structured like that, so you can like do a quick mission for like 10 minutes and then put it down again.
I hear the third one's really good.
Third one's really good, but I do think it actually goes on a bit too long. Is it like the first game you can do in like for like 2-3 hours, much quicker if you know what you're doing. But Luigi's Mansion 3 takes like 15-20 hours. By the time it's like near the end, it's like, just fucking end, please. And there's like loads of treasure everywhere, but there's bugger all to buy with it. So you get to a point, it's like, why am I bothering? But it doesn't stop you from doing it because we're all collectomaniacs. We see that diamond and treasure and we want it. But yeah, the 2 other things that may be interesting. There's a new Contra game, Operation Gallagher, which might be alright. Plays like original Contra, might be a laugh. Don't know if I'll pay full price for it, maybe like a $5. And there's a new Prince of Persia called The Lost Crown. And in the trailer, that looks kind of like the combat's a bit like Metroid Dread, but melee focused. But it only really shows combat and a little bit of light platforming. It doesn't give you an awful lot to go on, so I don't know whether it's going to be like a full-fledged sort of Metroidvania RPG or whether it's going to be more of a on-rails linear sort of combat thing. There's not really enough to go on, but it might be interesting. We'll see.
So the 2 games which I'm looking at now and just watched the trailer for is Aiden Chronicle and Unicorn Overlord. They're just like different looking RPGs. And it's like, okay, I can see myself playing them, but because they're sort of newish, I'm just like, I can't really justify paying like 30 plus for them.
I didn't think Unicorn Overlord looked all that good, to be honest.
Oh, I'm just looking at it. It looks weird, but that's what's drawing me to it.
I don't like how it's animated. Like it's sort of like half stilted. You know what I mean? Like it's like done in a deliberate way, so it looks like they're only doing like half the frames.
Yeah, if it was a bit smoother during the combat, yeah.
Yeah, I hate that art style.
I like the overworld looking like how it's like a storybook. But Aiden Chronicle looks interesting. You can build your own like little villagey thing.
I thought you'd be going for is it Spy Anya, the Spy Family tie-in game, which I'm
looking
sure
on,
will be a
I'm
pile of
looking on
crap.
the IGN website. Like I can't see it on the IGN one.
You know, I'm on Nintendo Live. I just looked at the YouTube video. There's one called Eastworld Octopia, Eastwood, which I know there is a game called East. I think it's called Eastwood.
Yeah, because I've got it, but I've not even played it.
Yeah. This one looks like a totally different type of game, and it just looks like a carbon copy of Starfield. Like it looks pretty much identical. Like graphically, even looks the same. And I'm not into. Sorry, not Starfield. Fucking Stardew Valley. I got fucking Starfield on the brain. Stardew Valley. He looks exactly like Stardew Valley. Right. Yeah. If you like show me these two slides, I'd have like that meme from The Office. It's like, corporate wants you to find the difference between these two games. It's the same picture.
I don't know what other big releases have we got this year before
Tomorrow, as of recording, tomorrow Lies of P, which I thought was coming out earlier, which disappointed me.
Yeah, I thought it was as well. And then annoyingly, I found out it's because it's got 3 separate release dates. It's got one. It's already out if you bought the deluxe version, so you got it early, which is bollocks. We get it tomorrow on Game Pass, but then the rest of I think Europe gets it the day after. I don't know why.
I don't know, but
Nah,
yeah. So I was originally like, I got really excited. I was like, okay, like I'll get the Lies of P downloaded like yesterday. I was like, hang on a minute, why is it saying release date 18th of September?
Yeah, because I read 16th initially. If you don't know, we're actually recording a day early. We're not recording Monday. If it was Monday on a normal day, would have been able to have a quick go. Oh well, we'll have to save it till next time.
That'll be the next episode though.
Yeah, we got that. Funnily enough, on the 21st, so in a few days' time, the DLC for Resident Evil 4 comes out. The Operation Ada, Separate Ways, Separate Ways.
Yeah.
Which we sort of knew was coming anyway because it's like DLC in the original games. It's like, where's the rest?
My mate told me about that when I saw him on Friday. I was like, I didn't even know that was. Well, he said it was announced. I didn't realise it was coming this soon.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, like they didn't say anything for ages. It's like, oh yeah, it's coming out. It's like when? Well, next week. Oh, okay. Yeah, it sort of came out all of a sudden. At least it seemed to, because I didn't see anything about it, and I'm a super fan of Resident Evil. It's like the first I heard of it was like 2 days ago. It's like, oh. Because when I thought, it's announced, it's like, that'll be around about Christmas time. Then it's like, no, in a few days. Which is a shame, really, because I've just had like 2 weeks off streaming. I could have been playing that, damn it. I haven't. How dare you come out a couple of days later?
I just means you've got to do it as soon as you get back into it.
Precisely.
Content.
Yeah. Well, what I don't know about it, because I should have really looked this up, is I don't know how much it costs and how long it's going to be. Because in the original game, it's only like a couple of hours tops. So we'll see. I might. This might be one. Even though I love Resi 4 to death and got the platinum and everything on it, I may wait to see what people say first before diving in. I'm sure I will buy it because it's more Resi 4, and I love me some Resi 4. But
it depends on how much it's going to be as well.
Yeah, if they say like, it's like, it's 15 quid and it's only an hour, I think I might wait for a price drop.
Yeah, when I see stuff like that, I just tend to like compare it to like my hourly wage. You'd be like, okay, if I get paid this much, if I buy this, it's going to cost this much. Like how much, sort of work it out. Like, okay, if I buy this DLC, that's like £2 an hour of gameplay, or as this one might be, I just bought a mortgage because it's like 50 quid for half an hour. I don't know.
It's that's you're saying you have like last episode. It's trying to weigh up your time and your money and your time on games. It's it's difficult. Some games are an absolute steal, and some you feel like you wasted it.
Yeah, some feel like they're stealing your money.
Yeah, and we got Starfield for free, and we still feel like
I still feel robbed.
Banter.
Oh god, that's all that data on the Xbox I'm having to give up, and all that time spent downloading it.
On the plus side, I'm going to have a lot more space on my hard drive soon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, you guys are not going to like the episode title for this.
I'll find out once we finished.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
I don't know. Anything else?
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
I think we're all there. I think we're caught up. So yeah, next episode, Lies of P. Not like we said last episode when we said we'll be talking about Lies of P.
Yeah, we lied about that.
We died. Our nose is getting longer as we speak. I'll be careful. I'm gonna knock over my microphone if I'm not careful.
The lies of victory achieved.
So there's nothing more. as always, you know where we are on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can listen
X.
Yeah.
the fact that I listened
not
to the Critical Role's talk show today, and they went Twitter, and then they mentioned, oh well, really it's X, and all of them were like, just says that no one likes the fact that it's called X. Even the members of Critical Role hate it as well. So we're not the only ones. Yeah, we're on them. You can listen to us on wherever you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Audible. We're out everywhere.
Listen to us in your newspaper.
Yeah. If you've got any questions, just tell us. Want us to answer anything, please?
We haven't. It'll be nice to do some listener questions again, like points of discussion, because they were fun.
Yeah. I think that's it. The only thing I've got to ask is, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
All right, fuck you. I don't understand this because my partner's mum asked me the same thing. And I was just like, well, maybe once this year I've thought about it. And then what is it? Is it some sort of survey just saying that boys think of the Roman Empire more than girls?
I don't know. I was just like, I'm gonna ask it as a banter. I saw I found a reel of it, an e-girl who made like a 2-minute reel just talking about it. I was just like, whatever, just fuck off.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I just wanted to randomly say it. It's probably going to age this fucking episode, but oh well.
Yeah, you will come back to this episode in like a few weeks. You'll be like, I don't understand.
Yeah, pretty much. It would have gone past my mind. But otherwise, I've been Dan. You've heard Chris and Brandon. We've been Victory Achieved. You'll hear us soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
Enjoy.
Bye.